There we go. We're still chatting to Pieter Dirk Uys, where we explore this multifaceted individual. Now, Pieter, as someone who sat with some of the world's greatest and even some of the South Africa's greatest leaders, who would you say influenced you and propelled you to write so much more?
Well, I think P.W. Botha was the one that pushed me into that direction, because I found I could do him, not easily, but he had a bald head, I had a bald head, and then before I knew it, I had the voice and the tongue and the finger, and it was important to make people laugh at him. He was powerful, he was in charge of everybody's lives, and suddenly when he appeared on TV, people would say, "Hi, is it Pieter Dirk Uys or is it P.W. Botha?" So that was fun. Nelson Mandela, of course, just really, truly, I think his sense of humor, which I think people will one day write theses and become doctors on analyzing how Madiba used his sense of humor to change the world. And he encouraged me to keep looking for the mock in democracy and expose the con in reconciliation. I am also a huge supporter of President Cyril Ramaphosa, because in 1994, Evita Bezuidenhout had an interview with him for the Funny Galore program, and Cyril and Evita caught little fish, and we spent a whole hour together on screen, and a very nice man with a great sense of humor, and he knows what he's doing, and I'm looking at him now and I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
So all these aspects are important for what I do as well. I want people to leave my show having confronted the state capture and all the negative things that we have to live with, but then realizing that this is still a democracy. We have freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and the majority of South Africans are not fools. They're not going to be taken for fools.
True.
And so we must get on with our lives and then eventually say to the government, "Excuse me, move this way, not that way."
Right. Now, Pieter, speaking of finding that mock in democracy and the con in the reconciliation, just a short while ago off the camera, we were just having a chat about the difference between comedy and humor, and you say that you want to focus on humor, because you're not a comedian. What's the difference between the two?
Well, comedy is the joke. I love jokes. I'm not very good at telling them. I start with the punchline. That doesn't really work. But humor is a very personal thing. It's like a fingerprint. Everybody's got a different sense of humor.
Yes.
And very often for me, humor is not laughing at a joke, but laughing at the fear that makes you look away. Okay. And that's what I want to expose on the stage. The absurdity and the obscenity of some of our politics. That's after 25 years of democracy, some people still haven't got the things that were promised 26 years ago.
Okay.
And humor is a very personal thing, and I think something that everybody can share with me, and also realize that don't look away from your fear. Give it a name, and it cannot destroy you. It can still kill you if you look away. But be very much aware of how important it is to have that laughter, not because it's funny, but because, for example, if somebody stands behind a door in a room, you don't know they're there, you walk in, they go boo, you get a hell of a skrik, but you see it's your friend. Now what do? You go, ha ha. Now that ha ha doesn't mean it's funny, ha ha means, I know you,
okay.
I know you. Yeah,
right.
So
now, who do you enjoy most poking fun at?
I love poking fun at Evita Bezuidenhout because, she's been with me for 40 years. It's like a marriage. I'm very glad I don't meet her face to face, except in this new show I'm doing now, I do meet her face to face. But Evita's a member of the ANC. I don't know if you knew that.
She's a member of the ANC?
Evita is
joking.
Oh, please. She is a member of the ANC. They really deserve her. I mean, she's the one person that is needed in Luthuli House. And now that Derek Hanekom isn't there, Evita's the only white face that glows in the dark. And she's cooking for reconciliation. She's got 3 black grandchildren who challenged her and said, "Gogo, you must protect democracy so that one day when we need to vote freely and fairly, democracy will be there in full working conditions." So Evita is in Luthuli House, keeping an eye on the democracy and the process, keeping an eye on Ace Makashula on the one side and the faction fighting. She's used to that. Do you know the ANC is very like the old National Party? They used to fight the same way. And they always said, "No, we're fine, we are united, we are united." And all the knives in their backs, they never showed their backs.
Shame, man.
So I just like the idea of making fun of things that aren't supposed to be made fun of. Political correctness isn't my friend.
Yeah.
Because apartheid was politically correct. So I'm
time,
politically incorrect. Okay, that's slacker.
I'm one of a few who've been very privileged to have met Evita herself, and you'll be meeting Evita for the first time. How's that going to happen?
Well, the show's called #HeToo, he TWO, meaning he too, me and her.
Oh, gosh.
She's on screen. And I've got, like you can imagine, 40 years of footage of Evita meeting Madiba and Tutu. Yeah. And there's me on stage with characters. And so I've put these two energies together. And at one stage, she is on the screen talking to me. When I'm doing her on the stage, she stops me and she said, "Hey, you can't do that. I mean, hashtag me too. You can't impersonate women because you're a man. You can't do blacks because you're white. You can't do Jews. You can't do Catholic." So now we're coming back into this whole new, what do I call it, a minefield of hashtags and hate speech. And I don't like that. You know, freedom of speech means, you know, you are free to speak and you are also free to argue if you don't agree with my speech.
Yeah.
But it's a greatly entertaining performance. It's also at the Monte Casino here in Johannesburg till the 18th of August, and then in Cape Town at Theatre on the Bay. Hashtag he too, and people must come and join me and enjoy what we've done in the 25 years. Look where we are. We're in a great country.
And I guess so many people have been asking themselves all these years how you're able to so effortlessly immerse yourself in a woman's character when you're a man.
Well, I'm an actor. You know, if you want me to play a tree, I will play a tree. If you want me to play a cat, I will meow and purr and wag my tail. And playing a woman is very important, especially here we are in Women's Month. I mean, you know, I am inspired and I respect women completely, because I have seen how much enormous change in the world has happened thanks to women. And so doing Evita is very important. I have to respect her. I want the women to recognize the woman and the man to forget the man.
Sure.
And I mean, there, you will see it in the show as well. She is interviewing Nelson Mandela and, "Oh, Evita, you look so beautiful." And it's just, I know that he knows the joke is there, but he plays with the joke. And that was the great thing of Nelson Mandela's sense of humor, his sense of fun. And I'd love to see politicians go back to that sense of fun. In 1999, Evita actually addressed Parliament, which was just wonderful. And I'm waiting for her to be invited back because they need her at this moment in time.
And I'm quite curious to know what issues she'll be tackling.
Well, we're saying to the red berets, you know, wash those overalls once in a while because they look dirty. Come now, people, grow up, yeah.
You know, Peter, you've been on stage for a record 7,000 times and doing musical drag shows, stand-up comedy, political satire, but those are diverse issues, but you managed to capture them so effortlessly in one single set. And I'm curious to know what you think of the current state of comedy in South Africa, and who is, you know, one local comedian that you think has a future?
Look, I think the state of comedy is healthy because the comedians are really thinking outside the box, meaning they are being politically incorrect, which is the only basis that comedy can survive in. I think the man who makes me laugh the most, sadly, is Jacob Zuma. Because, well, he's got a hell of a lot of things to answer for. And I wished he would answer for those things and not constantly say, "Can't remember, can't remember, can't remember, can't remember." I mean, that will be, for the rest of my life, that is just perfect.
Oh, Peter,
and all politicians make me laugh when they're not giving a good reaction to the public question, and the public are saying, "When will you help me? I am the voter." And when politicians are careless and they say, "I know what I should do, but I'm not going to be bothered," I'm going to get them. I'm waiting.
Peter, do you want to leave a legacy as Peter behind Evita, or a legacy as Evita herself?
You know, I haven't got time to worry about that. I'll worry about that when you worry about that. I mean, legacy to me is what I do tonight on the stage.
Sure.
It's got to be 100%. It's got to be original. It's got to be so challenging. It's got to be a bit offensive, because offending somebody is not bad.
Yeah.
I rattle their cage of opinion. They won't be insulted. They won't be demeaned. But maybe they will also walk out of that venue thinking that they are proud of where they are and who they are. So that's the legacy I want to leave.
Pieter Dirk Uys, thank you, man. We appreciate your time, hey? That was renowned entertainer Pieter Dirk Uys talking to us about his life, his rise in entertainment and more. And he's been in the industry for a record of 40 years and continues to shine and be one of the most loved entertainers in the country.